when I was Ethan's roommate for almost 4 months, and in that time, Ethan inspired me so much to basically not be lazy, and to be my best self, because that's what he was really doing. He was being his best self. He wouldn't waste any time. He was really motivated and really dedicated to his growth and himself, and he's one of the most inspirational people I've ever had and I've ever met in my life. He inspired me so much, and he had a tremendous impact on my life. And I expect to take this with me for a very long time. This was a very rich experience for me. This is a very deep experience for me, and I don't imagine this is going to go away anytime soon.
Hello, my name is Eli Nawani. I was friends with your son Ethan at Aish Friends. I just want to give a couple words of inspiration that I've had experiencing being the time that I've had with him here. He was a very good kid, very studious, righteous. I've always seen him in the Beis Medrash learning Gemara with the rabbis. I was in his class for a little while. I always remember, walking around with a smile. He was always walking around with a smile on his face. Always try to inspire people to come and learn and just be stronger. And he was always there for people, always giving out his jacket, or people needed stuff. He was always the guy to go to if you needed anything. I was sick one time. He gave me medicine. It was unbelievable being around him. I remember one time he came up to me and he's like, Eli, just gave me a strong hug. He's like, Eli, I remember I was learning this book, and he was so inspired learning. I think it was Shmuel Hanavi. He was learning about the prophets. He was so inspired. He inspired me to check it out too. And it was really nice spending the time that I had with him here.
Hi guys, my name is David Ryan. This man you guys raised was an unbelievably caring person who prayed probably second to none of anyone, and I'm sure you're going to hear that from everybody. Everyone will tell you the same thing, how amazing of a davener he was, and how his connection to God was so inspiring to the rest of us. Understand, Ethan was in the best place that he could have ever been, surrounded by his friends, surrounded by God here in front of the Kotel. I couldn't have asked for a better person to have in my life, even if it was only for a short time. I know I had a very short time to send my condolences to you guys in person, but I wanted to make sure to come out and let you guys know that I, for one, and I'm sure everyone else, will never forget Ethan. I have a jacket that he gave me, not this one, but he honestly was one of the nicest guys, and he will truly be missed, and it will be a spot in my heart forever.
Hi, my name is Todd Rosenblatt. I learned at Aish Friends, and I was Ethan's roommate. If there's one thing that always struck me about him was, no matter what was going on, he always seemed to be in such a happy mood, such a great mood, almost always. And he always took that, and it wasn't just about him being happy; it was about his connection with everyone else. He was always just very generous, very kind, and very caring for the people around him. There's so many examples of it. When he'd come home from Shabbos, he spent Shabbos with his uncle a lot. He would come back, and he'd always have food that he'd bring back with him, and he'd say, "Yeah, I got all this food. Please eat it. Please take. There's this bunch in the fridge. I brought cookies. I brought this, that, the other thing. Please eat. And I think that was very much characteristic of who he is. That everything he did seemed to be about being kind and caring towards others, and he really spent a lot of time, just making sure everyone else was doing well and making sure that things were going well. I got to speak with him about a lot of Torah, and in my time speaking with him, it was really cool to see that he was always just involved in learning new stuff. We'd be talking about stuff, I'd be talking about some idea, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, in the Message Sharm in this chapter, Paul talks about this, and over here, and Tehillim it says this," and it was really inspiring to me, really amazing for me to see that he was able to learn so much so fast, which is something that I, as well as I think a lot of guys, really struggle with. I think it was really cool to see that he was just so so involved in it and cared so much about all this that he really was pushing himself and growing and learning, really connecting to Hashem, to God, in a way that I think a lot of guys in the yeshiva.
I'm Hadro Rappaport. I'm 18. I go to Aish Torah. And I had the pleasure of getting to know Eitan over the past few months. He was really a passionate guy. You'd always see him in the base midrash. He's just one of the most positive guys. He just had so much love in him. He was willing to give to everyone. He'd always be letting people borrow stuff if they needed, asking, being polite about everything. He's just such an inspiration. I think like everyone could learn from him. He's just he just teaches everyone how to be such a loving, passionate, fun, wholesome person. And I'm glad I got to know him and learn from him from the time I had with him.
My name is Gil Eisenbach. I teach Talmud at Aish Torah, and I had the pleasure of Ethan as one of my students. We studied in the morning from 9 o'clock until 12, 3 hours devoted to the topics of Jewish philosophy, but primarily Talmud. And I found in Ethan a thirsting student. He picked up the vocabulary of the Talmud very, very quickly, even though the language of Talmud is Hebrew and Aramaic. It's not an easy language to pick up, and he picked it up very, very quickly, words, phrases, and even the logic of the Talmud, which is quite intricate, even difficult at times. Ethan would figure it out, and I was amazed at Ethan because often I would tell the students, you have to go over it, we're getting together tomorrow, and Ethan would come and he had gone over the material, either with a tutor or with a fellow student, and he knew his stuff really, really well. And I was amazed. He bought a copy of the Art Scroll edition to the particular section of the Talmud that we were learning, and he used it, and he really, really used it well. Also, Ethan was a mensch. He was such a nice person. Everyone, I'm sure, is mentioning that he had a smile from one side of the face to the other, from one ear to the other, like a Cheshire cat. Hope you don't mind the analogy. And he was all smiles. He really was enjoying himself in his studies and feeling the growth and getting into the spirituality of the yeshiva and the friendship with other students. I want to mention that I invited the entire class to my home for one evening of Hanukkah, and Ethan was not able to come. But as a gesture of his reciprocity, just appreciating the invitation, he gave me the following morning a bottle of wine. And I said, Ethan, you didn't come, it's okay, you don't have to. No, Rabbi, please take it. Please take it. Don't worry, it wasn't an expensive bottle of wine, but it just showed where his heart was. He was all heart and really worked and really was enjoying himself. And what a sad loss, of course, for the family and for us. May his memory always be a source of nachas, pleasure to his parents and to all of us, and may we not know sorrow again.